Hello, everyone out there in video viewer listener land. My name is Kris Stone. You are taking a peek into Circle A Studios, also known as Bunny Ranch. Yes, this is where the magic happens, if you would have guessed it. I am here to introduce myself as Brother Samuel, and I'm here to smash your face with some bass. So, are you ready to feel it? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Cassie Tierney, here in the studio with Kris Stone.
Hey, nice to meet you. Welcome to my studio. I'm glad you're here.
It's good to be here. So, when were you first introduced to electronic music?
In 2001, I went to my first rave. It was Together as One in Los Angeles at the Coliseum, and I've pretty much stayed in the drum and bass room that whole night, and I found a new love for drum and bass and jungle music. I always kind of liked my music, a little on the dark side and minor sounding in regards to chords and music. So I was just naturally drawn to bass music and drum and bass. I didn't really like house or trance at the time. I liked drum and bass. So when I was introduced to it, I didn't hear anything like it, and I pretty much became an addict with drum and bass.
Nice, interesting. So, who or what influenced you to start making music?
I would say that my dad had a big influence on me. We used to listen to classic rock, and at that time I had a teacher who was really into the counterculture movement, and we were learning about the 60s, and I always liked that, they made music with a message. So, when I listen to artists and whatnot, I basically tend to see if they have a message. I love the music, but it makes it extra, meaningful and special if there's a message to it, and they, spread it through music. Then then I think it's a wonderful thing, and people interact with it, and it becomes a part of everybody's life, and music just becomes bigger that way. But so I would say that my dad got me into that, and then around I would say about 13 I got my first guitar, and I started rocking out. Before that, my first instrument was a saxophone, but that didn't cut it. It was just a little bit too complex for me at the time. And so I just started to write music, and I told myself, I like to hear everyone's music, but I really want to create music and write music. So I just started writing punk rock songs, and it went from there, and that's pretty much how I got into music.
So, how did you transition over from the rock genre and on into the infectious genre of dubstep?
Well, basically, I had been doing the rock thing for a while, and people were just became a pet peeve of mine because people weren't as serious about the music as I was. I was coming into contact with a lot of flakes and whatnot. So I just that was becoming a big factor, and I just said, what, I'm gonna. I was doing a couple projects, starting to do a little bit of electro clash, with a little project called Pro Handle Derringer, and then basically from there I started using Pro Tools, and I was starting to get familiar with Reason, and then basically I started to use those programs, and I decided to learn MIDI and the MIDI keyboard, and I started to be able to look into synths and what the different processes of synthesizing sounds were and whatnot, and I started interning at a couple of studios in Los Angeles and Hollywood, and learning a lot about audio engineering and the certain sound frequencies and instruments and whatnot. And then I basically I decided to go to a party with my friend. It was Digital Love in Los Angeles in 2010, and it was DJ Reed Speed from Los Angeles. She was spinning right there, and she was spinning dubstep and house back to back, and that was it was like kind of new house. They had like the different pitch synths, like they have nowadays. And I didn't necessarily like the old house because it was really repetitive. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is, I started liking the new sound of the new house and dance music in the rave scene. So, I heard dubstep before at raves, but I just wasn't into it and I wasn't ready for it, And then when I went to Digital Love, it just, I guess you can say, it got a hold of me, and ever since I just loved dubstep, and I started producing like a week later. So I started to use Reason. I got just more into it, and Ableton from Live Light, and about 3 other programs, and just got a bunch of software and spent a little money on some monitors, and then I started to produce dubstep.
As an artist, what do you feel that you take from dubstep?
Like I said, I've always liked bass heavy music and fast beats. So, I kind of was always drawn to like hip hop and sample bass and whatnot, and I really like that aspect of dubstep. To me, it's like almost like collaging. I'm a graphic artist, so I like to, I do my album covers and whatnot, and just like to do, album artwork or song artwork or whatnot, visual and audio art, basically. So, that's what I really like about dubstep, is that it has samples, so I take that whole, like, exciting, like, new freshness of dubstep, and, I think that I'm receptive to, to the new style of manipulating sounds, and it's a new genre, so it's still progressing, and it's art, and it's a learning process for everyone, and I take in that, I see people producing music and digging the music so much that they want to produce it more and whatnot, and I see me as doing that too, and I just do it for the love of music, and so I take that from dubstep, everyone's love of dubstep, so to speak.
Definitely. So, Kris, what do you think that you give back to the dubstep community?
Well, if anything, like, I'd want to like serve as an example, in a sense that I've always been like DIY, do it yourself, and I think that if anyone wants to do whatever they want to do, even if it's not dubstep or not music, and in any situation, that if they put their mind to it and they focus, that they can accomplish whatever they want to for whatever ends. Some people don't have ends. I like to think of it, like I said, I have the love for dubstep music, just the love for music, period. So I'd like to do like benefits and give songs away and do things like that, just for certain causes that resonate with how my ideas and whatnot, and so I'm open to all of that. So if anything, I'd like to give back a piece of myself, so everyone can see that if someone's doing what they want to do and they're happy, then they can do the same thing, and who knows what can happen from there. The possibilities are endless, so to speak.
Right, definitely. Seems like you have a really positive outlook. So I was wondering, how did you come up with your name?
Well, when I first got into dubstep, I around the time I saw this movie, it was called The Mutant Chronicles. I don't remember what actor was in it, but it basically was, his name was Brother Samuel, the main character, and he was there to save, like, it was like an apocalyptic movie, so, he basically was there to save the day and, like, spread the message that there's brighter days beyond that, so to speak. And so that's pretty much where I got Brother Samuel from. I liked that little ethos, and I just wanted to stick with it. And you know, I took a sample from the movie, and then some of the first, like the first two dubstep productions are more like garagey sounding, because you know I was learning how to, you know, do the dubstep thing, and so you know they're primitive sounding, and they sound good for what they are. But you know, as I progress, you know, my sound gets better, and you know, so does the sound of dubstep. Period. You know, you hear it now, and it's just how it's changed is you know, amazing in itself. So yeah.
Awesome. That's interesting. So, what do you have going on right now in the studio?
I have about 6 or 7 new songs I'm working on. I don't know if I'm gonna make a full album or if I'm gonna split them into EPs and you know, shop them out to some labels and see if we can get some sounds of Brother Samuel, you know, out internationally, nationally, and see if we can spread the message of, you know, of dubstep, bass music, and you know, the family, the community of you know, this certain genre of music, and you know, see what happens, and if it opens up more passageways or pathways to different music, then you know, so mote it be.
Definitely. So, when can we expect to see Brother Samuel out playing live shows and spreading the viral sound of dubstep?
I would say hopefully soon. That's in the works. Let's just say that's in the works right now.
I'm Kathy Tierney, here in the studio with Kris Stone. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for Brother Samuel, an up-and-coming producer and DJ coming to a city near you.